Okay, this is the middle part of your lesson for today. We're still in 10-1 with this. We need to talk about circumference. And how can you find circumference depending on what you're given in a circle? I want you to turn to your SGI book in 10-1, and let's turn to the back side. So you should go ahead and get that out now. I'm going to give you time. SGI 10-1 on the back side. Anything I do up here, please have done in your SGI book. This will help you on your homework. Number 1, under SGI 10-1, I want you to read your directions with me. Find the circumference of a circle with the given radius or diameter, round to the nearest hundredth. Take a look at these equations that I'm giving, these formulas I'm giving you. If you remember from elementary school something about circumference, hopefully you remember one of these two formulas. Okay, this is the one I like to use the most. C equals pi times d. The C stands for your circumference. The D stands for diameter. Okay, over in this other one, this one works too. Your C is still circumference. Your R is your radius. Okay, now, how can you remember one of these, both of these? If you got a good memory, you can just memorize. A lot of times when I ask people about circumference, they say pi r squared, and that's not your circumference. That's area. So for this section, forget about pi r squared. Okay? You got pi times d or 2 pi r. I remember this one from a trick that my 6th grade teacher taught me, and I still remember it. So I'm going to teach you, if you didn't know these by heart, couldn't remember it from another class. Here's my little trick to remember this one on the left. You can do a little rhyme out of it. You can put psi equals pi times di. Okay, and that's how I always remember it. I still remember it like that. Psi equals pi times di. Psi equals pi times di. Okay, it's got a little rhythm to it. So say it over and over about 10 times, and then you got it, you'll remember it. Circumference equals pi times diameter. Now, how do you find circumference if you're given that the radius is 8? If you want to use this formula, you need diameter. If your radius is 8, your diameter is twice that size. So your diameter is going to be 16 centimeters. Well, now that we have diameter, if we want circumference, let's just take and plug in 16 for our diameter. And can you punch this in your calculator and get a decimal? Sure, you can. If you leave it as 16 pi, that is a fine answer. If you just put that coefficient in front of pi, pi is just a number here. Okay, so in your calculator, you could punch in 16 pi. There is a pi button on your calculator if you're using the TI-83. If you're using a cell phone as a calculator, you can round that to 3.14. Okay, punch it in. I don't have a calculator nearby, but whatever the decimal is, round to the nearest hundredth is 2 decimal places. Okay. What if you are given one that gives you the diameter? Okay, like number 4 gives you the diameter automatically. Well, if you got diameter automatically, number 4 says your diameter is 10 inches. Just plug in pi times your 10, and then what's your decimal going to give you for that one? It will give you 31.4. I know that one by heart. Make sure you put your inches on there to finish out your answer. Okay? So you know the formula, plug in the stuff that they're giving you. Let's do a couple more here. I want you to look at your SGI 10-1 book, and let's look at number 11 is a great question. Number 11 has a circle for you. Read your directions as I draw this. Okay, what do your directions ask you for? Find the exact circumference of each circle. So if you see that keyword circumference, let's automatically think about, what do we know about circumference? Psi equals pi times di. Now, I have not handled 2 pi r. Can you use it? Sure. As long as you can find radius, you can plug in the radius to this one. It'll give you the same answer. Do you realize why this formula is exactly the same as this one? Because what do you know about diameter and radius and the way they compare to each other? Your diameter is 2 times your radius. So look at this. You see that 2 in there? And your radius, 2 times your radius, same thing as diameter. Okay, so either one of these will work. I'm going to stick with psi equals pi times di because that's the one I like. That's the one I can remember. So if I use this formula, if I want circumference, what variable do I need over here at the right? I need my diameter. Look at this picture. Where is your diameter located? Right there. Do you know your diameter? No. They will give you enough clues to solve for your diameter though. Look at what they give you. 5 centimeters, 12 centimeters, and look at this. This triangle in there is a right triangle. If you have 2 sides of a right triangle, and you want the third one, I'm going to call this D for diameter. If we want this third one, what can we always use to find that third side? This is where you can do Pythagorean theorem. So here we go, let's do it. What is going to be our hypotenuse on this one? Your hypotenuse of your triangle is your D. So instead of C, let's just use D there so we don't get confused with circumference. Okay, so we're going to call this piece D. Your other 2 pieces are just 5 and 12, so let's plug those in. Doesn't matter the order over here. 5 squared is 25. 12 squared is 144. Add these together. You will get 169. 169 is a perfect square. If you didn't know that, just punch it in your calculator. What number are you going to get when you do the square root of 169? It will give you 13. Check it. Now, on a problem like this, you get your first step, you know where you're going, but you did a lot of work in here. So let's remind ourselves, what do we actually want in the end? So once you get a step here, always go back and read your directions on your page. Find the exact circumference. We got diameter, we need circumference, so let's just plug in. 13 centimeters is my diameter. Can you just punch this in your calculator and get the decimal? Okay, please do that now. Round it to 2 decimal places. Remember to put on your units, which is centimeters. Whatever that decimal is, that is your circumference to this circle. Okay. That will wrap up all that we need for section 10.1. I have one more video with 2 example problems that you're going to watch, and that's going to help you with your 10.2 homework. You should have a little bit of time left in class to work on your homework after all this is over. You need to make sure that you've got everything you're responsible for by tomorrow's class. Use your class time wisely.